Hello everybody, how you doing? This is Fadali and this video is about the HTML ID attribute. Alright, so let's just see what is the ID attribute. The ID attribute is used to specify a unique ID for an HTML element. Alright, it is kind of similar to the class, but there is a slight difference. Okay, I will let you know. Okay, so how do we create a ID? So for creating the ID, it's kind of similar to the class. All you need to do is to start with the hash character, then followed by the ID name. Then you have to define the CSS properties, within the curly braces. All right, and we use ID with the CSS and as well as with the JavaScript. So what's the difference between the class and the ID? Okay, there is a single difference that a class can be used with multiple HTML elements. Okay, you can use the class with the multiple elements like we did in the last video of the class, but the ID name must only be used by a single HTML element within a page. This is a kind of difference between a class and the ID. I have created a new file ID and it is kind of empty. We have nothing. I just want to copy the code of the classes HTML and I just go there and paste it here. I will kind of make some changes here that I won't delete this thing. I will just add one more thing here. To create the ID, you have to start with the hash, then you have to give it a name, then you have to use the curly brackets. That's it. I want to give a font size here. I want to have brown color, kind of color, brown. In the background color, I would like to have yellowish color. So we are good here, and now let me just create heading here. The heading, I just have to give a ID here, which is okay. I have to change the name. Alright, so I have just created an ID. Okay, my header ID. I have given the CSS properties here and I have used it with the heading. So let's just see how it looks. Let me just save this file and run it again. Now you can see the difference. Okay, we are kind of having our ID here. Okay, so this is how you use the ID, and if you want to change anything on a header, you can change its values and it will affect the element which you have used your ID. So this is all for this video. If you really find this helpful, hit the like button and subscribe the channel, and bye bye.